Push yourself harder today so tomorrow you can look back and see just how far you've come. When you push yourself every day, you don't just grow, you transform into the person who can achieve anything. The moment you decide to push yourself, you take the first step toward becoming the person you were meant to be. Do you push yourself to keep going even when you don't feel like it? Do you show up and give your best effort no matter how tired or frustrated you feel? Winners don't wait for the perfect moment or the right feeling. They push themselves every day, no matter what. Think about it. What separates those who achieve their goals from those who don't? It's the ability to keep going when things are tough. It's the willingness to show up even when motivation isn't there. The secret to success isn't about waiting for the perfect conditions. It's about taking action, even when it feels hard. So how do you become someone who pushes through every day? Like the winners do, how do you break past laziness, push past resistance, and make progress? Even when it's difficult in this video, we'll break down exactly how to build that mindset and turn it into real results. You'll learn practical ways to stay disciplined, stay motivated, and stay focused on your goals. No matter what, stay tuned, because by the end, you'll know exactly how to push yourself every day and keep moving forward toward your dreams. Now let's dive in. Number 1, force yourself to work hard even when you feel tired. Success is not built on feelings. It is built on action. The difference between those who achieve greatness and those who settle for less is not talent, luck, or even intelligence. It is discipline. It is the ability to push forward, to put in the effort, to do what is necessary, even when every part of you wants to stop. Most people operate on emotions. If they feel excited, they work hard. If they feel tired, they slow down. If they feel unmotivated, they procrastinate. But the ones who win in life refuse to let feelings dictate their actions. They have trained themselves to act regardless of how they feel. That is the mindset that separates winners from the rest. You will never wake up every day feeling energized and ready to work. There will be mornings when you want to stay in bed, days when everything feels difficult, moments when doubt creeps in. That is when most people quit. They justify it by saying they need a break, that they'll start again when they feel better. But that is not how winners operate. Winners push through discomfort. They understand that success is not about how you feel. It's about what you do. They take control of their actions instead of being controlled by emotions. This is a skill, and like any skill, it must be developed. Think about it. If you only work when you feel good, what happens when you don't? If you only take action when you are motivated, what happens on the days when motivation is nowhere to be found? That is why so many people fail. They wait for the right mood, the right energy, the perfect conditions. But winners know that the perfect moment never comes. The right time to work is now. It starts with making a commitment to yourself, a commitment that says, I will do what I need to do no matter how I feel. When you wake up exhausted, you still show up. When you feel discouraged, you still take action. When things don't go as planned, you still push forward. This is the mindset of champions. Imagine an athlete training for the Olympics. Do you think they feel excited to train every single day? Do you think they always feel strong, always feel ready? Of course not. There are days when their body aches, days when they feel drained, days when their mind tells them to stop, but they don't stop because they know that success is earned through effort, not through comfort. The same principle applies to every area of life. The best entrepreneurs do not build their businesses by working only when they feel inspired. The greatest artists do not create their masterpieces by waiting for a wave of creativity to strike. The most successful individuals in any field push through the moments when they don't feel like it. That is why discipline is the key. It is what keeps you moving forward, even when your mind and body beg you to stop. And the more you train this ability, the stronger it becomes. The first time you push through exhaustion, it's hard. The second time, it's still hard, but a little easier. And then over time, it becomes second nature. You stop asking yourself if you feel like working, you just do it. You stop negotiating with your emotions, you take action. And when you develop this habit, you gain something priceless, self-respect, because every time you do what you said you would do, despite how you feel, You build trust with yourself. You prove that you are the kind of person who follows through. And that is what builds confidence. Not empty words, not positive thinking. Most people never experience this kind of confidence because they never train themselves to push through resistance. They let fatigue, doubt, and discomfort control them. But those who master this skill become unstoppable. They know that no matter what life throws at them, they can keep moving forward. This is not about ignoring rest. It's not about burning yourself out. It's about refusing to let temporary feelings control your long-term results. It's about understanding that progress is made one step at a time. And sometimes that step is the hardest one to take, but once you take it, momentum kicks in. And when momentum kicks in, everything changes. Most people wait for motivation before they act, but winners know that action creates motivation. The simple act of starting. Even when you don't feel like it generates energy, it builds momentum. And once you are in motion, it is much easier to keep going. Think about it like a heavy train sitting on the tracks. If it's at a complete stop, it takes tremendous effort to get it moving. But once it's rolling, it becomes almost impossible to stop. That is how your work ethic should be. You don't wait for the perfect moment to start. You start, and that action builds the momentum you need. So ask yourself, are you going to let your feelings dictate your actions, or are you going to take control? Are you going to push yourself, or are you going to make excuses? Every day you have a choice. You can either take one step closer to your goals, or you can stay exactly where you are. And here is the truth. The hardest part is not the work itself. The hardest part is starting. The hardest part is getting out of bed when you are tired. The hardest part is getting to the gym when you don't feel like it. The hardest part is sitting down to work when distractions are calling your name. But once you start, once you commit, it gets easier. That is why winners don't waste time negotiating with themselves. They don't sit around debating whether they should work today or not. They just do it because they know that success is not a feeling, it is a habit. And when you push yourself every single day, when you develop this level of discipline, you become the kind of person who cannot be stopped. You develop a mindset that allows you to overcome any obstacle. You learn that you are stronger than you think, more capable than you realize. And that belief, that unshakable confidence, is what allows you to win. But none of this happens if you take the easy way out. None of this happens if you listen to the voice that tells you to take a break, to slow down, to rest when you haven't earned it. None of this happens if you keep waiting for motivation to show up. So make a decision. Decide that from this moment forward, you will push yourself. Not just when you feel like it, but every single day. Because that is what winners do. That is how champions are made. And when you live this way, when you commit to taking action, no matter what, you will be amazed at what you can achieve. You will look back and realize that all the moments when you wanted to quit but didn't were the moments that made you stronger. Number 2, keep going strong every day. No matter the struggle, success belongs to those who refuse to stop. Life is not easy. You will face challenges, you will encounter setbacks, you will have moments when you question yourself, when everything feels like it's against you. But the ones who make it to the top are those who keep going. No matter what, every single day, you must wake up with the mindset that nothing will stop you. Not fatigue, not failure. Winners are not people who never struggle. They are the ones who struggle and still keep moving forward. They refuse to let difficulties define them. Most people start strong. They have excitement, motivation, and energy at the beginning of their journey. But what happens when things get tough? What happens when the progress is slow, when obstacles appear, when doubt creeps in? That is when most people stop. They look for an easier way. They convince themselves that maybe it wasn't meant to be. But winners are different. They do not stop when things get hard. They do not slow down when they face resistance. They push forward even harder. They understand that struggle is part of the process, that every difficulty is an opportunity to grow. When you decide to pursue anything meaningful, you will be tested. You will have days when nothing seems to work. You will face setbacks that make you wonder if it's all worth it. But these are the moments that shape you. These are the moments that determine whether you rise or fall. Most people see struggle as a reason to quit. They think, if it's this hard, maybe it's not for me. but winners see struggle as proof that they are on the right path. They know that every great achievement was earned through perseverance. The most successful people in history did not have it easy. They had every reason to quit. They kept going. So the question is, will you keep going? Will you rise when things go wrong? Or will you back down? Will you fight for what you want? Or will you surrender at the first sign of difficulty? The truth is, your success is not determined by how easy the journey is. It is determined by how committed you are to keep going. No matter how difficult it gets, every struggle you face is shaping you. Every hardship is making you stronger. Some days you will feel exhausted. Some days you will feel like you are making no progress. But remember this, every effort counts. Even when you can't see immediate results, you are still moving forward. Success is not about massive leaps. It is about consistent steps taken every single day, even when it's hard. Imagine climbing a mountain. The higher you go, the steeper the path gets. Your legs start to burn, your breath gets heavy, and every step feels like a battle. This is where most people turn around. But those who reach the top are the ones who refuse to stop, no matter how tired they are. This is the mindset you must adopt in life. There will be moments when quitting seems like the best option. There will be days when everything feels like it's against you. But this is when you must dig deep. This is when you must remind yourself why you started. Every great achievement was once just an idea, a dream in someone's mind. The only reason those dreams became reality is because the people behind them refused to give up. They pushed through their struggles. They kept moving forward when everything told them to stop. You must do the same. When you feel tired, keep going. When progress is slow, keep going. When you doubt yourself, keep going. Because every time you choose to move forward, instead of giving up, you are proving to yourself that you have what it takes. Struggles are not signs that you should quit. They are signs that you are growing. No one becomes great by staying in their comfort zone. No one achieves anything meaningful without facing difficulty. The struggles you face today are preparing you for the success you will achieve tomorrow. The key is to focus on progress, not perfection. Some days will be better than others. Some days you will feel unstoppable. Other days you will feel like you are moving backward. But even on your worst days, you must keep moving. Because forward is forward no matter how slow. Think about the strongest people you know. Think about the most successful people you admire. They did not get there by avoiding struggle. They got there by facing it head on. They got there by refusing to let obstacles stop them. And the truth is, you have that same strength inside you. You have the ability to keep going no matter how hard it gets, but you must decide to use it. You must decide that no matter what happens, you will not quit. So when you feel like giving up, remind yourself why you started. Remind yourself that struggle is temporary, but quitting lasts forever. Remind yourself that every step forward is a step closer to success. You were not meant for an average life. You were not meant to settle for less. But to achieve what you want, you must be willing to push through the hard times. You must be willing to keep going strong no matter the struggle. Because in the end, the ones who win are not the ones who had the easiest path. They are the ones who never stop moving forward. And if you commit to that mindset, nothing will be able to stop you. Number 3, push past your limits and demand more from yourself. Every person alive has a boundary. They think they can't cross a point where they say, this is enough. But let me tell you something. Those limits are lies. They're self-imposed mental barriers that hold you back from reaching your true potential. The truth is, your limits are not real. They're temporary. They're just things you've convinced yourself of because you've never pushed hard enough to break through them. The only way to break past those limits is to demand more from yourself. You have to look at the edge of what you think is possible and say, I'm going to keep going. You can't let your comfort zone control you. You can't let the fear of failure control you. Or the fear of exhaustion stop you from pushing beyond what you thought you could do. You can do more, you can achieve more, but you have to demand it from yourself. This idea of pushing past your limits isn't just about physical endurance or working longer hours. It's about your mindset. It's about what you believe you are capable of. Your limits are defined by your thoughts, your beliefs, and your habits. So if you want to break through those limits, you have to first change the way you think. You need to start thinking bigger. You need to start thinking in terms of possibility, not impossibility. Most people never break through their limits because they never even try. They're content with the life they've created, even though deep down they know there's more they could be doing. They settle for mediocrity because it feels safe. It's easier to stay where you are than to take the risk of going beyond what you know. But growth never happens in your comfort zone. Real growth, real success happens when you step outside of what feels familiar and challenge yourself to do more. The most successful people in the world didn't get there by staying within their limits. They got there by demanding more from themselves every day. They pushed when everyone else stopped. They went further when others said it was impossible. They made a decision to break past the limits of what was comfortable and went after what they really wanted. And the best part, you can do the same thing. The first step in pushing past your limits is to stop believing in them. You've got to eliminate the idea that there's a point you can't cross, a place you can't go. This is a mental game, and it starts with changing the way you think about your potential. When you look at the obstacles in front of you, don't see them as roadblocks. See them as opportunities to push beyond what you think is possible. Instead of thinking, I can't do this, think I haven't done this yet. The difference is subtle, but it's everything. Your mind will try to convince you that you're not ready, that you're not capable, that you'll fail if you try. That's your self-doubt speaking. That's your ego trying to protect you from discomfort. But here's the reality. You'll never grow by staying where you are. You'll never achieve anything extraordinary by playing it safe. You have to get uncomfortable. You have to take risks. You have to challenge yourself every day to go a little further than you did yesterday. www.muji.org. There's something powerful that happens when you push past your limits. Every time you go beyond what you thought was possible, you expand your capacity. You start to realize that the limits you've set for yourself are not fixed. They are malleable. And with every step you take toward greatness, you can stretch them further. The more you push, the bigger your limits become, and the more you realize how much potential you truly have. It's easy to think that pushing past your limits means working harder, working longer, or simply doing more. But it's not just about the amount of effort. It's about the quality of that effort. You can work hard all day, but if you're not working strategically, if you're not pushing yourself to think differently, if you're not pushing your mind as well as your body, you'll never truly break through your limits. The key is to push yourself in every area: your mind, your body, your work, your relationships, your habits. Demand more from yourself in every aspect of your life. This means you have to stop accepting mediocrity. Stop accepting the bare minimum. Stop giving yourself excuses for why you can't achieve more. Every time you make an excuse for why you can't do something, you're reinforcing your own limits. You're giving yourself permission to stay stuck. Instead of making excuses, look for ways to rise above your challenges. Ask yourself, what can I do today to go beyond my current limitations? Demand more effort, demand more focus, demand more consistency. Another important part of pushing past your limits is recognizing that failure is a part of the process. When you push yourself, when you step outside of your comfort zone, you will face obstacles. You will encounter failure. You will feel frustrated. And there will be days when you want to give up, but that's not a reason to quit. It's a reason to push harder. It's a sign that you're getting closer to breaking through your limits. Failure isn't the end of the road. It's simply a part of the journey. Every time you fail and get back up, you're strengthening your ability to push past your limits. Every time you overcome a setback, you're building the resilience you need to keep going. Failure isn't something to fear. It's something to embrace. It's a necessary step on the path to growth. Remember, your limits are not fixed. They are a reflection of where you are now, not where you can go when you demand more from yourself. You begin to change what's possible. You start to see opportunities where you once saw obstacles. You start to take action instead of waiting for things to get easier, and eventually those limits will disappear altogether. It's also important to understand that pushing past your limits isn't about perfection. It's about progress. Every time you challenge yourself to go beyond your current abilities, you're moving forward. You're getting closer to your true potential. You may not be able to do everything perfectly, but as long as you keep pushing, as long as you keep demanding more from yourself, you're heading in the right direction. The beauty of this process is that it never ends. Once you break through one limit, you'll set a new one. Once you reach a new level, you'll see another challenge waiting for you. But that's the point. The journey of pushing past your limits is a continuous cycle of growth. It's a journey that forces you to evolve, to become better, stronger, smarter, and with each new level you reach, you'll be amazed at what you're truly capable of. This process doesn't just apply to big life-changing goals. It applies to every part of your life, from the smallest tasks to the biggest challenges. You can demand more from yourself every single day. Whether it's in your career, your personal life, or your health, you have the power to push past your limits and achieve things you never thought possible. So here's the challenge. Look at your life right now. Identify the areas where you're holding yourself back. Identify the places where you've set limits and start pushing beyond them. Demand more from yourself. Expect more from yourself. Set bigger goals, take bigger actions, push yourself to go further, faster, and harder than you ever have before. Because when you do, you'll be amazed at what you can accomplish. The life you want, the success you want, the greatness you want, it's all waiting for you on the other side of your limits. But you have to be the one to push through. You have to be the one to demand more. No one else is going to do it for you. You are the only person who can unlock your full potential. And the key to doing that is simple. Demand more from yourself and push past those limits. Number 4, do what needs to be done without waiting for motivation. Motivation is often seen as the spark that ignites action. It's the feeling we all crave when we want to get things done. We all wait for it. We hope it will hit us, inspiring us to push through the barriers that hold us back. But the reality is motivation doesn't come on command. It's fleeting. It doesn't last long enough to carry you through the hard work required to achieve anything meaningful. If you're waiting for motivation to get things done, you'll be waiting forever. The truth is, the most successful people didn't get to where they are because they were constantly motivated. They got there by doing what needed to be done, regardless of how they felt in the moment. The key to progress isn't motivation, it's discipline. Discipline is what allows you to keep going when motivation fades. It's the ability to do what needs to be done, not because you feel like it, but because it needs to be done. When you rely on motivation to push you, you set yourself up for failure. Motivation is unpredictable. It comes and goes based on your mood, your energy, and your circumstances. But discipline is something you control. It's something you can rely on even on the days when you don't feel like doing the work. The biggest problem with waiting for motivation is that it's easy to get caught up in the idea that you need to feel a certain way before you can take action. You think, once I feel motivated, I'll start working, but that's the trap. That's where so many people get stuck. They wait for that perfect feeling to show up, but it rarely does. And so they stay stuck. They never take action because they're waiting for the right moment. The right moment is now. And the only way to make progress is to start, even if you don't feel motivated. Doing what needs to be done without waiting for motivation is a mindset shift. It's about understanding that you don't need permission to take action. You don't need to feel inspired. You don't need everything to line up perfectly. You just need to start. And once you start, the momentum builds. Once you take the first step, the next step becomes easier. The hardest part is often simply beginning. And the longer you wait for motivation, the longer you delay your progress. It's important to recognize that waiting for motivation to strike is a form of procrastination. You're delaying the inevitable. You're putting off the work you know you need to do. And the more you delay, the more difficult it becomes to actually get started. The truth is, the longer you wait, the harder it will be to take action. But when you stop waiting for motivation and start doing the work, you'll be amazed at how quickly things start to fall into place. Discipline is what turns ordinary people into extraordinary achievers. It's the ability to do what needs to be done, even when it's hard, even when you don't feel like it, even when you're exhausted or overwhelmed. You know, it's not about waiting for everything to be perfect. It's about doing the work no matter what. It's about taking consistent action toward your goals, even on the days when you don't feel like it. And when you do that, you'll start to build the habits that lead to long-term success. One of the biggest reasons people fail is because they expect their journey to be easy. They expect motivation to carry them through the tough times. But the truth is, the road to success is never easy. It's filled with challenges, setbacks, and difficult moments. If you only act when you feel motivated, you'll never make it through the hard times. But if you have the discipline to push through, when motivation fades, you'll build the resilience you need to overcome any obstacle. The truth is, you'll never feel ready. There will always be something holding you back, whether it's fear, doubt, or simply the comfort of your routine. But if you wait until you feel ready, you'll be waiting forever. The key is to take action. Even when you're not sure how things will turn out, even when you don't have all the answers, even when you're not feeling motivated, because the reality is that nothing is going to change until you take that first step. The most successful people in the world didn't wait for motivation to show up. They didn't wait for the perfect conditions to arrive. They didn't wait for everything to line up just right. They took action, they moved forward, even when they weren't sure how things would work out, and that's why they succeeded. They took consistent, deliberate action toward their goals, regardless of how they felt in the moment. They understood that waiting for motivation is a waste of time. They understood that the only way to make progress is to start. Even if you don't feel like it, the key to success is not found in waiting for motivation to strike. It's found in doing what needs to be done. Even when you don't feel like it, it's about developing the habit of taking action no matter what. And once you make that habit a part of your life, you'll start to see results. You'll start to see progress, even on the days when motivation is nowhere to be found. Because when you do what needs to be done, regardless of how you feel, you're building the momentum that will carry you to success. Motivation is like the wind. It can push you forward for a while, but it can't carry you forever. Discipline, on the other hand, is like the engine of a car. It keeps you moving, even when the road gets tough. It's what keeps you going when the initial excitement fades. It's what allows you to keep showing up day after day, doing what needs to be done regardless of how you feel. And that's how you achieve greatness. You don't wait for motivation. You rely on discipline to keep you going. Here's a simple strategy to stop waiting for motivation. Commit to taking action every day, no matter how small the task. If you're trying to write a book, commit to writing 1 page every day. If you're trying to lose weight, commit to exercising for 20 minutes every day. If you're building a business, commit to working on it for at least an hour each day. The key is consistency. It's not about doing everything at once. It's about showing up and doing something every day, no matter how you feel. And over time, those small actions will add up to big results. When you commit to doing what needs to be done every day, you stop relying on motivation. You stop waiting for the perfect moment. You stop waiting for the right feeling. You just take action no matter what, and that's when the magic happens. That's when you start to see progress. That's when you start to make real changes in your life. Another important point to understand is that doing what needs to be done without waiting for motivation doesn't mean you won't feel resistance. You will. There will always be days when you don't want to work. There will be days when you'd rather stay in bed, when you'd rather put things off. But the difference between successful people and everyone else is that successful people do it anyway. They push through the resistance. They do the work. Even when it's hard, they understand that the rewards come from the work, not from waiting for motivation. This doesn't mean you have to work nonstop without rest. It doesn't mean you should burn yourself out. What it means is that you need to stop waiting for motivation to start taking action. It means you need to stop letting your feelings dictate your behavior. Your feelings are unreliable. They'll tell you to stop when you should keep going, but your discipline will keep you on track. Discipline will help you do what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it. Number 5, stay disciplined daily and never give yourself an easy way out. Discipline is the cornerstone of success. It's not about motivation, talent, or luck. It's about consistency. It's about doing what you need to do every day, whether you feel like it or not. Success doesn't come from occasional bursts of effort. It comes from the daily grind. It comes from making the right choices day after day, even when those choices are hard. And perhaps one of the most important aspects of staying disciplined is this: never give yourself an easy way out. The world is full of distractions, temptations, and excuses.